newly arranged plants. There's my bromeliad. I don't know whether that's Star of India. I'm not sure on all the names. That came in a planter, and I separated it. Here's a Sansevieria snake plant, and I don't think it tells me the name. I think it's some kind of bird's nest Sansevieria. Just says snake plant. So I didn't repot that. I repotted that one. Did not repot the bromeliad. I'm trying to go slow because I don't like it when everybody moves the camera so fast you can't focus your eyes. There's my ZZ plant. I was so happy to get that. I bought that at the local supermarket. And those two I bought at the local supermarket. That I bought at Lowe's for $3. So I found out that was very fortunate. And here's a new Dracaena out of all the plants that come in at Lowe's in the smaller pots. I think this one was a $3.49 one. This was the only one that was so white. So I don't know. Yeah, this was the smaller one. And I hope I'm not moving the camera around too much. And it says Warnecki, Dracaena Menius? I don't know. Anyhow, I don't know how to pronounce all these. I'm just trying to learn the names. I've been a plant lover for a long time. I'm 70 years old. So this YouTube stuff is all new to me. And there's one of my buys at Lowe's. It was a bargain. My air plant in that little terrarium. I guess it was for Valentine's Day, and it was reduced to $3. Bought this at a thrift shop. Didn't pay very much. It comes on and off for 8 hours and then off for 12. My little candle holders I bought on sale at the Bon-Ton, which is now out of business. I think I bought the little bird at Tuesday morning. And here's its mate right over here. I love them. I have them outside a lot. Here's my prayer plant in the planter that all the other ones were in that I separated. So there were 2 plants in there. Little birds I got at Tuesday morning. And this little bird I just bought at Dollar General. This orchid I just bought at Lowe's, reduced to $3 instead of like $8. There's, oh my gosh, the name just blew out of my head. Arrowhead plant, or it is a Syngonium vine, but that wasn't the tag that was in it because this was in the planter also, as was this palm tree in the planter. And these pots right here are pots that orchids were in, and I just, whoops, that one isn't well rooted, so I just pulled it out of the dirt. There's another orchid that I bought for $3. They need repotted. Here's another arrowhead plant, and I think it looks like a bunny face or a wolf face. I've never seen one and I can't find it anywhere. Maybe somebody can identify it for me. But it was the only one like that at Home Depot. This I bought at the supermarket. Wasn't very expensive. I think it was like maybe $5. I added the bird. And it's in one of those pots that the orchids were in. And I even left the little orchid plastic pot so it doesn't sit in dirt. Usually I put some rocks or something in the bottom, but my hands are bothering me, so the less weight the better. Here's another one of my $3 orchids. I have to repot, so it's just sitting down in here till I can get a chance to repot it. There's even like a dead flower on it. I guess that's why it was reduced, but the roots were as flat as could be. I didn't think they'd ever puff back out. But look, after soaking in water, they swelled back up. Miracles do occur. Of course, that didn't, but I don't think that root was that air root was soaking in water. The leaves are still dehydrated, so I'm hoping the next soak will get them going, which will be today. Here is my limelight corn plant, another Dracaena. I think this one might have what it is on the side. No, but they do have a wick on them now. Some of them that are coming in at Lowe's. Oh, there's the plant thing. This pot, I think, came from the dollar store. That it's double potted in. And this says, sorry people, I'm filming with my phone. My full name is Dracaena. That's the same name as the other one was, huh? But I think that one's called Limelight because of the color. And there are two of them in there. And they're both really healthy. Except for that one leaf right there that's a little bit brown. And there's another of my air plants that I got for $3 in that little container. It was supposed to be $10, $9.99. There's another one of my fairy balls that I got at the thrift shop. There's a little silver mercury ball. My dad was in the Navy during World War II, and he was able to be a deep sea diver, and so my son, Chris, bought this as a present for his grandfather. My father lived till almost his 91st birthday, a couple days. He died before his 91st birthday, and so now I have it. Finally figured out how to change the battery in it. There's some more of those flower handmade tea lights. And then this came from Lowe's, the trailing fig, and I think its name is in here. I'm trying to remember these Latin names. This is Bellis, Fiscus Pamela from Southeast Asia. So it's called Bellis. I've never really been attracted to these, but then I found out they like low light. So I'm just wondering if I'll be successful with it. Here's another $3 orchid. And another $3 orchid, all from Lowe's. Just recently. Let's look at its roots. Believe me, these roots were flat, dried out. I didn't think they'd ever swell back up. But then I started to think about orchid hunters hundreds of years ago, and they would sometimes use orchids they didn't think were any good as packing material, all dried out when they got to Europe, and lo and behold, when they put them in water, they swelled back up. So that's what made me decide to take a chance on these $3 orchids. Look how pretty that is. Beautiful little guy. Still a lot of buds to bloom. Oh, wait, I always want to let it focus. Let's look at this other one up close. That one's very pretty. Very, very pretty. And it still has a little tip right there that might bloom and get a little more. And then let's look at this one up close. I love my orchids, and I just started with these in November. I was watching Jacqueline's Orchids, a combination of her name Carolyn and her husband Jack, and she got me hooked on orchids. Then I found Rick's Orchids. Oops, I better cut that brown tip off. Then I found Rick's Orchids on YouTube, and he taught me the chemistry of orchids. And look at that one, almost looks like a pansy in a way, the coloring with that dark center. pretty soon the timer's gonna buzz because I soak my orchids for 20 minutes in the solution. Let's see this orchid root. Okay, that one looks better. Almost looks like that's root tip's trying to grow. There, that root tip is. It's funny about orchids. They don't grow roots and leaves and flowers at the same time. They grow their roots and leaves when they're not in bloom, and then once they set spikes, after the temperature drops 10 degrees at night, they're not dependent on daylight, but a temperature drop at night, and that causes the hormones in the plant to start to grow spikes, and that shuts off the leaf production and the root production. That's why sometimes people, when a orchid stops blooming, they think you should cut off the spike close to the pot so that it doesn't spend any more energy producing flowers. If you cut the spike partway back, many times the orchid will rebloom. And they want you to cut the spike the whole way back so it will not try to rebloom. It will grow roots and leaves. And there's the center down there, this little plant. The leaves are still pretty wrinkled. But Rick of Rick's Orchids on YouTube said the plant spent a lot of energy storing nutrients in that stem. So if it needs the nutrients stored there, it will sort of eat those nutrients, absorb those nutrients back into its leaves and roots, and the stem will die back. And he said, don't cut it back unless it's died back. So that's what I've been doing. I hope I can get these to rebloom. Since I repotted this guy about 3 weeks ago, it looks like it's not happy with that leaf dying because I disturbed the roots. Seems like it's pretty sturdy in there. It has 3 other good leaves. And this is the second plant. It's doing pretty good. So I'm just going to step back and show you how this looks. I'm just so happy with the way it looks. It's in front of the stairwell to the basement. There's some lights up there. That's a grandson's artwork from when he was like in kindergarten or something. You can see my plants over there, the laundry that needs put away, the Christmas tree that needs put away. And this is my window of orchids that are soaking. I'll take you over there and show you. Well, it just beeped. So now I got to get these guys out of soaking. They've been soaking for 20 minutes. And this, I was soaking them in the sink for 20 minutes. 2 by 2 in there, but it was taking forever. So I rinse them first, get the leaves and the roots wet and the bark wet. So these guys are waiting for their dip in the pool and the fertilizer. They're everywhere. This is a tiny little kitchen. Tiny, tiny, tiny. So they're going to come out, go back into their bowls to drain. Those are from the thrift shop. And these other ones are going to go. Alright, that's the end of this video, and I'll make another one in a little bit.